This video is going to cover what kind of information that you can see from your players that are linked to you in your Anova coach account. So we're here at linked players, and we'll just go to a player here and click the action button view player, and then we'll arrive at the player's homepage. So we will see exactly the same thing that the player will see here, and we're on the dashboard. First of all, we have three menu items up here, three drop-down boxes. The baseline is your main data set, and this is where you choose what data set you use to generate all the statistics. So the default here is all rounds, and we're just going to leave it at all rounds. Then we have two compare to variables here, where we can choose last 5 rounds, last 10 rounds, or any other of these selections, and we're also just going to leave these as they are for now. But whatever you have here in the baseline shows up here. Whatever you have in the first compare to box shows up here in the middle, and whatever you all have here in the second compare to box shows up in the bottom. And as we scroll down, we have these options here where all rounds here is the baseline, and then the first compare to and the second compare to here. We also have colors. We have green ones and yellow ones, and whenever the compare to variable here is better than the baseline, the compare to variable turns green, and whenever it is worse than what the baseline is, it turns yellow. So that's how we read the color codes here. All right, so moving on, we immediately go to this player's strokes gain tab. This will show us a compilation of all the shots that this player has hit in all the rounds that they have entered, based on a strokes gain basis. So we have, first here in the summary, we have all the categories, so off the tee, approach the green, around the green, and putting. And we can go into these ones into detail. For example, here, average strokes gained approach shots by zone. We have these broken down into distance brackets. We have shots from around the green, and around the green is defined as within 30 yards of the edge of the green. They're also in distance brackets, and you can see the number of attempts. We have shots from a greenside bunker. These shots are included in the around the green category, but it's still very useful to be able to see how we're doing from bunkers only. And then finally, we have strokes gained putting here, which is really cool. It's the same distance brackets here as the PGA Tour is using. We see the number of attempts and where we gain and lose strokes in comparison to an average tour player. Moving on, we have personal strokes gained here. Personal strokes gained takes every round that you've hit, that you have in your database, and then it compares your most recent round to that round to see it, to all of those other rounds to see if you're doing better or worse. So if your numbers here are green, that means in the last 5 rounds and the last 10 rounds you're getting better, which is a very good thing to know. Off the tee, we can see driving accuracy. We can filter this by left tendency, right tendency, missed fairway others, and how many fairway bunkers we hit into. We can also see the driving distance here in a nice graph. Approach the green, we get all the approach shots that we've hit grouped into distance brackets, and we can see what the average proximity to the hole is for each one of them. We can also see and filter here by these different zones what the resulting direction is. Moving on to around the green, we get the average proximity to the hole from these distance brackets, and we can also filter to only shots from the fairway, from the fringe, rough, bunker, and other lies. Putting, we can get our make percentages here. We see a nice graph here where we can see last 5 rounds or last 10 rounds or whatever we decide here in the compare to options. And we also have various different statistics. Approach putt performance is a cool one because it measures how far away from the hole are you after your first putt. And we can also break that into long putts or putts over 15 feet or putts under 15 feet. Finally, on putting, we can see the resulting direction where we are most likely to miss our first putts. Moving on to scoring, We have a graph of all the rounds that we played and the scores, and we can filter that according to practice and tournament. And we also have the standard scoring variables here, where we can see our par 3, par 4, par 5 scores, bounce backs, etc. Okay, we also have a streaks tab here, where we can see things like what's our best current streak without a 3-putt, the best 1-putt or better streak, or consecutive greens in regulation. And there are more of these in the statistics tab also.